Hello. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's 4 minutes past 12. Good afternoon. Hope we are all well. It's game day. We're going to have no Conte in, Conte out, Enoch in, Enoch out. Let's talk about some actual football for once. And let's forget that there's a crisis at the club. Is it a crisis? We're fifth, Champions League. You might say it's a crisis. Today, I will be doing two shows. I'll have this show between now and 2 p.m. And then we will be doing a show between 10 p.m. and 12 p.m. after the game. Both shows are going to be fan shows. This evening, I'll be joined by Kuva, where we'll be hosting. We'll be putting the link in the chat, and anyone who wants to join can, and to get their say on the game, on the tactics, on player performances. We'll try and keep it about the game, but it will just send into Conte and Enoch Talk. And then right now, we'll do the same thing. I'll put the StreamYard link in the next 5-10 minutes. And anyone that wants to come on and have their say, have their rant, their vent, praise the owners, praise the manager, have a go at the owners, have a go at the manager, whatever they want to do, come on and do it. At the end of the day, this is not a dictatorship. I have my opinions, you have yours. Everyone is welcome to them. Do not let anyone tell you how you must think. So let's have a look then. We have got, we've got a really important game. If I look at last night was not good for us results-wise. Let's have a quick look. So we'll start with the results from last night, where Man United have now moved 5 points above us. And good afternoon to you all, by the way, in the chat. Please keep smashing that like button. Come on, there's 50 of you in the chat, only 7 likes. If you could all just quickly smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't, that would be great. Man United have gone 5 points clear of us with a 3-0 win against Bournemouth. They're looking the real deal at the moment, Man United. Bearing in mind their manager's only been there 4 or 5 months. Arsenal, Newcastle playing out a 0-0 draw takes them both a point further away from us. That now means that our rivals are 14 points clear of us. Everton couldn't do us a favour. And when I say that, I'll come to Brighton in a minute, but Brighton won 4-1, Fulham won 1-0, and Brentford also beat Liverpool 3-1. So if we look at how that leaves us in the league table now, it's a strange one, guys and girls. We've got 30 points, Liverpool and Fulham 28, Brighton 27, Brentford 26, and Chelsea 25. The top 10 is very, very close from 5th to 10th. 5 points in it. Chelsea have got the game in hand, but their game in hand, I suppose you could say, is tonight against Manchester City. But I've been so impressed with Brighton, Brentford, and Fulham. And I'll say it, it goes to show that if you have a manager that gets you organised, you don't have to have the best players in the world. You can actually look like a half-decent team, but we won't go there. Tonight's game versus Palace, where are we? So Crystal Palace are another team. Win tonight, Crystal Palace go within 5 points of us. It is it's a league that's squashing up, and that makes tonight's game really, really important. Crystal Palace away. I'm sure some of you agree. Can any of you see it? It looks like there's an orb floating around, like maybe a ghost or something. I can see like an orb floating around in my light. Let me know if you can see it. Crystal Palace, talk to me, people. Put it in the chat right now. Win, lose, draw. What type of game are you expecting? What type of football are you expecting to see? I'll be honest. I'm really worried. I'm really worried about this. It feels that we are on a downward trajectory, and that doesn't mean we can't win, but it does feel like we are very much on a downward trajectory. And I don't know where we go from here. Lose tonight, and I can see it getting very toxic. And I think more and more people are getting fed up, are getting wound up by results, by performances. There is so much, there's so many different theories and opinions flying around of Paratici and Conte and Levy and the youth team and transfers. And it just feels like that. I don't know what we do tonight. Let's talk about the options available to Antonio Conte tonight. So lots of talk. Kulusevski's not available. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Bentancur, we know, is not available. Basuma is suspended. So you're looking at a midfield two of, you tell me, what would you do? What would you do, guys? Would it be look, Højbjerg's guaranteed to play, right? I think we can all acknowledge that. Højbjerg guaranteed to play. Will it be Skip? Will it be Sarr? Do we see a bit of a dark horse and maybe a Harvey White or a Divine? I don't think he's that type of manager. What do we think? I think it will be Skip and Højbjerg, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's Sarr and Højbjerg. If you were Palace, you'd probably be licking your lips. Players like Eze, players like Ayew, Zaha, Elise, going at our defence on the counter-attack. I believe that they can cause us problems. But listen, I don't care. We should be causing teams problems. Kane's still there. Son's still there. Does Brian Hill start tonight? For me, I mean, look, we'll talk about this in more detail. For me, I wouldn't play the back three or back five anyway. That's just me. I wouldn't. I think this manager has been horrendous in sticking to that formation without the players. Now, there's the idea that, well, he's been successful with that formation anywhere else. Why should he change for us? Valid point. Problem is, we don't have those players. So it's like, surely you play with the players that you've got. But he will go that formation tonight. And I think what he will do is bring in, I think he'll either bring in Sessegnon at left back and push Perisic up front with Kane and Son, or he could put Doherty left, Perisic further forward and bring in Royal at right wing back. I don't think we're going to see Jed Spence. I think the back three will probably be the same we saw the other night. I let me know what you think. I think we're looking at a Longley, Romero and Ben Davis free. Unless there's any way in which he brings back Dyer, but I can't see it. It's going to be a tough game away from home, under the lights. Their crowd are going to be massively up for it. Let's be fair. If you are Vieira, here you go. Let me ask you a question. Please all put in the chat. If you're Vieira, what's your last message to your players before they run on that pitch? Because for me, it's run at them. They have no clue. Run at them. So let's see. Can we start on fire for once tonight? Can we start like a team that actually wants to win a football game? Listen, everyone knows my opinion on Antonio Conte. Everyone knows my feelings on his inability to get us playing any form of football. I don't know what they do on the training ground, but wouldn't it be lovely to see from tonight, from the first kickoff, that we're at them? We're going at them with energy, just with some passion. And this is exactly what I would say to the players as well. Lads, it's Tottenham. In 5-10 minutes, I'll put the stream link. I'll put the link to StreamYard in the chat. And if anyone wants to come on and vent and talk about whatever you want, the floor is yours. Come on, I'll let you have your question and then we move on to somebody else. But look, today is a really, really, really important game. Craig Henshaw is a bit more is a bit more optimistic than many fans. Craig, 3-1 to Spurs. Listen, I hope you're right, my friend. I just can't see it. And then you've got to look at it. If we lose tonight, what does that then do? Then that's 4 defeats from the last 5 Premier League games. Might be making that up. 3 defeats, a win and a draw. What does this mean for Conte? What does this mean for Levy? What does this mean for the transfer window? Every transfer window, we live in hope, don't we? That, we've just had a shocking result. Maybe that will spring them into action. It never does it? It never springs them into action. We're now the 4th of January, so we're 4 days into the window. As far as I can see, 0 transfer news to talk about. There doesn't seem to be any real rumours, does there? There doesn't seem to really be anything. Normally now we're going, oh my God, we're linked with him and him and him and him. I've not really seen anything. I don't know about you guys. I mean, the whole Pedro Porro thing has been there for ages, but I can't see us paying his release clause. They're talking about Harry Maguire, but is Levy really going to pay 50 million, 60 million for Harry Maguire? Would you want Harry Maguire? Is he an upgrade? Putting him alongside Dyer, Romero, isn't that just, a complete lack of pace? And I just don't know. The whole thing seems to be a little bit of a nightmare. Let's go to some of your comments. Raf, big yourself up. Raf here said, I'm not looking forward to this. A 3-1 loss. Yeah, a lot of fans now are starting to feel this way in a lot of games, aren't they? And unfortunately, I don't blame them. Billy Horrocks has said he would go with Sarr and Højbjerg. Nicola said Sarr needs to start. A Palace or a Spurs win, maybe a draw. Thank you for that. That's very, very informative. Thank you. One of those three results will be correct. Yes. Terry's gone with Skip. What do you make of Skip, people? I've never been impressed, but what do you make of him? Wish we had their defence. I agree. How has a team like Palace been able to spend as little and have a defence of Guehi and Anderson? Makes you think, doesn't it? What's Paratici doing? Soren Højbjerg. Here's the thing, our defence is shite. Yeah, of course it is. But listen, that's for the manager to then protect them. That's for the manager to set up to stop that being the case. I'm a big advocate, DM, of if you don't have two centre-halves, let alone three good centre-halves, don't play three at the back. All of this players to cover each other, you're not actually covering each other. You're just putting more dross on the football pitch. For me, go to a back four. I mean, it's not the best back four in the world, but get Davis at left back or Sessegnon at left back. Get Longley and Romero at centre half, and then whoever at right back, and then we can start finding some patterns moving forward. But this whole formation relies on wing backs and centre backs, of which we don't have. It just baffles me as to why he's stuck with it. And anyone telling you, oh, there's no options to do anything else, it's a complete lie. All other managers try stuff. Son, Kane, Gill, Højbjerg, Skip, Doherty, Romero, Dyer, Davis, Perisic. Yeah, could well be. Could well be, Raf. The Holy Goalie has said maybe Dyer moved forward next to Højbjerg. The only certainty is five at the back. Interesting. Would anyone do that? Would anyone chuck Eric Dyer into midfield? I mean, this is how our club's gone, right? This is back to where we were about 7 years ago. Eric Dyer at DM. Stan Spur said, agreed with regards to the back three. Yeah, Stan, listen, it's just not for me. I think back three is a wonderful formation. You've got to have the players to play it. You can't do it with round pegs in square holes. You can't do it. That's what Conte's tried to do since he's been here, and we're seeing it's not working. We're seeing a manager that will not adapt or change anything. Now, when people are telling me there's nothing else he can try, how do we know? What we're seeing at the moment isn't working, so why not try something else? Give it a few games as well, not half a game. Don't go to four at the back for half a game. Why not try it? Stuart Such said, I would consider playing three in midfield and play both Skip and Sarr. Okay, we need more of the ball in midfield. Gill is too lightweight for a game like Palace. So you're suggesting the three in midfield and just Kane and Son up top? Understood. We have no other options. Gill is the only choice we have. I mean, have we not got anyone in a youth team? Anyone in a youth team that we can give a game to or get on the bench? Surely. Jamie Donnelly, Lancashire, one of them, get them on the bench. Bring them on for 10 minutes. Let them make a hero of themselves or just get some first-team action. It just seems strange. I'm going to put the link in the chat, and if anyone would like to come on and make their point, please feel free to. But please come on and have a point. Don't just come on and sit in the background and not answer questions I ask you. It makes it really difficult for me to have the show. So the link is in the chat. Yeah, feel free. Billy, this was a worry. We're seeing eye to eye more lately, Billy. He said, have you seen a report saying Conte is training the players too hard? This has been my worry for a long time. And this is why everyone, do you remember on social media, was wetting themselves at, oh my God, the players are doing the bleep test. The players are doing the bleep test. Look how fit we're going to be. Yeah, let's see how that's panned out. Let me bring in Jack. Jack's come into the stream. Jack Deacon, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Were you showing off some muscle there? Is that what was
no, not at all.
You come on to show off some physique. Jack, welcome. I think it's your first time on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, big up yourself. Talk to me, man. The floor is yours. Tottenham Hotspur, Palace. What are we saying?
So I'm fed up. I'm so fed up. Like I think at the start I think back when Jose was here, I was like, right, the club are gonna back him. We've brought in a serial winner, etc., etc. He doesn't come to project clubs. We know this. It's Jose. Jose's here. Surely Daniel Levy and Enoch now have got a social, some gut and go and actually
Yeah.
give him some money. And then, you know, since then it's been, you know, he asked for, who did he ask for? Bruno and Diaz, I think, and ended up with I can't even remember their names. That's how bad they are.
We ended up with Joe Roden.
Yeah, and
I
someone
don't
else
even
on
know.
loan or
It was
something.
so bad. It was so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, awful. And I think that was the first big turning point for me. I was like, look, if he's not going to back a serial winner like Jose, who is this guy going to back?
Right.
And then I think from there, the argument's been, you know, whoever comes in isn't going to get backed. It doesn't matter who's going to come in; they won't get backed. So I've resort to Twitter and I'm just retweeting everything now. Enoch out, Levy out.
Yeah.
I'm like you now. I don't care if Conte leaves or stays, because again, it won't. Nothing's going to change until the top change, and I think fans. I think fans are slowly starting to realise that, because I'm seeing a lot more action now on Twitter, especially. But there's still fans that are giving money and back him. It'll change. It's the typical lines like, oh, it's only day 4 of the transfer window. We're still in the Champions League. We're still 5th. It's like none of them are trophies. Is what I don't get about people. I don't want to celebrate getting 4th. I don't want to celebrate finishing above Arsenal. I don't want to celebrate a Champions League final that we didn't win. I want trophies ultimately, because I love my club. Everyone loves their club. But it's like you said, like Liverpool don't celebrate coming second. They celebrate winning trophies. Right. Man City celebrate winning trophies. Everyone else, celebrates actually winning things.
Well, I think that's the thing, Jack. I mean, even up until yesterday, I'm getting people in my comments going, "Oh my God, but we made a Champions League final," and it's like,
just listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. It's ludicrous.
Since we made that final, Jack, Liverpool have gone and won it, got to the final again and lost it, won a league, won the FA Cup, won the League Cup, won the Super Cup, and now Spurs fans go, look at Liverpool now. And I'm like,
you can't say that. They've just gone out and signed Cody Gakpo, just literally like that. And they weren't even boasting. I didn't see any Liverpool fans really boasting about it. That shows the mentality. If we went out and signed Cody Gakpo, it would be, oh my God, generational talent, better than Man City's attack, better than Liverpool's attack. People would lose their minds.
Do you know what, Jack? Right, I was my brother-in-law is massive Chelsea fan. The whole my wife's family are all Chelsea. It makes it unbearable, right? So I was with him the other week when the news broke that Nkunku had officially signed. And I said to him, "Oh, look at that." I showed him the Sky Sports. And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "What do you mean? Yeah."
What do you mean? Yeah.
He was like, we buy top players all the time. Like for Spurs, if we sign an Nkunku, we'd be like, "Oh my God, this is the second coming." And oh my God.
Yeah. We're going to go and win Champions Leagues and league titles because we've signed one player.
They sign players all the time. And Carl, who's in the background, I'll get you in a minute. Carl said they also won the World Club Cup. This is the thing. Look, this isn't Spurs versus Chelsea, Spurs versus Liverpool. No. But what we do, Jack, what I find that we do, and I've seen this on loads of YouTube channels lately, is what we turn around and do is go, well, what crisis? We're 5th. Look how poor Chelsea Liverpool season is. And it's like, yeah, but these clubs have a dip, build, and then come back, right?
They actually have something to rebuild off of. We don't.
Right.
We should have rebuilt in the Poch era when we made second. We should have looked at that and gone, right, we made second. Haven't done that for a while. Let's now shove a load of money and actually give him the players to then go and challenge next season. And we never did. And I think that was the start of this huge downfall. I think people need to realise how big this downfall is.
But do you know what? Do you know one of the things that makes me laugh is, look, I'll be honest, I for a brief moment in time, I think literally for like a week, I got really, really happy when we signed Jose, because my mindset, it wasn't so much about Jose. It was like you said, it was right. Surely you don't sack the fans' favourite, bring in a serial winning, divisive character and not back him. The moment they didn't back him is for me now why when people are going to me, oh my God, Conte's the best thing we've ever had. I'm like, meh.
He's not.
It's not even about, even if Conte was the best winner with the best CV ever, it it doesn't matter, has been my point all along. When we signed Conte, I turned around and said, this will be good in the short term. There'll be an instant manager bounce, right? Because there's going to be that, oh my God, Conte's a winner. We're going to play for him.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, the players will realise they're not seeing any better players come through the door.
Yeah.
They're not seeing any change. They're having to play this, let's be honest, it's turgid football. Nothing was going to change, but our fan base clung on to this. ENIC are going to change. ENIC are going to change. They're not.
We've seen it. We've seen it before. We've seen it plenty of times before. Poch, Jose, Nuno, the stopgap, etc. It's going to happen until, this is the thing. I think ultimately, you get excited about whoever comes through the door as manager. That's fine, but they'll leave in six months, 12 months. My prediction is, I've had the same prediction now for a while, and I think it's slowly coming true that I can't see Conte being here at the end of January. I think he walks.
I agree.
I really, really do think he walks.
Let me ask you a question, Jack.
Yeah, go on.
Let me ask you a question. I've said for the last month now, for me, I truly believe I would have so much respect for Conte for the rest of my life. Even if he went to Arsenal or Chelsea or wherever he goes, I would have so much respect for him if he got up this month, walked, and showed the owners for what they are, right? At the moment, what we're getting is, and I get it, but what we're getting is a lot of cryptic, I know the plan,
He's not making it easy, is he?
No. And for me, that will be his lasting legacy at the club, would be get up, walk away, show the owners for what they are, right? And then the fan base unites and we go, right, how much more are we taking? But all the while he's here, right? All the while he's here, and I get it. Who wants to walk away from 20 million a year? I'm sure the everyman like me and you, 20 million, we're like, I'm retiring.
I'd do a lot of things for 20 million.
Right. But we're talking in a world where Conte could resign today, and I'm sure within 3 months he's got another job in Italy or something. Of course he does. Right?
He goes to a club that backs managers.
Exactly. So for me, that would be the lasting effect I think he should have on this club. Otherwise, it will be the same effect Conte had, or ADB, or Redknapp, or Poch. It will be, thanks for some good moments. We had some awful moments, but ultimately, you weren't ever going to achieve anything here, mate.
Thanks for getting us top 4 in that season where you picked us up from 8th, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely. I mean, look, it's a tough one, Jack. We are used to this as fans now, right? We are used to it, but the big thing for me, where I am now starting to get more frustrated than anything, and I'll try and have a conversation without the ENIC element, because yes, we all want them gone, but there are other discussions in football.
Yeah, of course.
I'm watching Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, right? Just 3 clubs that aren't considered in the top 7 or 8 teams, but are up there in that top 10, a few points behind us.
They're floating around, yeah.
And I went on last night to Transfer Market, the app Transfer Market.
Yeah.
I looked at those 3 clubs' last 6 transfer windows, right? Now, Jack, if you put all their transfer windows side by side, I could get 1,000 Spurs fans in here, and I'd go, right, from those last 6 windows, 3 years, who are you taking out of those signings? I guarantee you, hardly any of them. There'll be a few, like, now in hindsight, people would say, oh, Alexis McAllister, right? Casado, Tony, right? But on the whole, when you look at those 18 transfer windows across those 3 clubs, how have they got, with the players they're signing who are absolute nobodies at the time, how have they got a team togetherness, a cohesiveness, a plan, a strategy? And that, for me, is when people tell me that Conte can't do anything with these players, I look at those 11 and go, hang on. Now, Jack, I'll tell you this, right? This was Brighton's team last night. Okay. Now, I'm not saying Brighton don't have a good team, but this was their team last night. And if you had suggested any of these to Spurs fans a year ago, they'd laugh. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Estupiñán, or however you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Colwill, who I think is on loan from Chelsea. Dunk, Veltman, Gross, Mitoma, Sarmiento, March, and an 18-year-old up front called Ferguson.
I don't know half of those players that you mentioned.
Right. So when people are telling me, "Oh my God, there's nothing Conte can," that's why I go,
yeah.
I'm
But
sorry, I'm
you
not.
would think, like, after not making how many? When was the last time we were in the Champions League? Was it 2019 or 2020?
God, yeah, we were in
I think it was like
2019.
2 years. You would think after 2 years of not having Champions League football, and then clutching it again, like over Arsenal. Not that that's anything special, but you would think there would be more team togetherness and team like spirit. And we're not shit. Our managers don't get backed, but we've got good enough players to make Champions League football. We've got the players to at least participate and really push big teams. But we know when we come to face AC Milan, they're going to turn us over. They are
I'm
absolutely going
worried.
to. It's like you said, like Rafael Leao running at Eric Dyer. It's ridiculous.
Jack, if you're any manager playing Tottenham Hotspur right now,
Yeah, you tell him.
I don't even think you need to plan brilliantly to beat us. I
No.
think the message is, right, start with 100% energy. Go
Yeah.
at them.
Go 2-0 up, and then just don't let them counter-attack, and you've won. That's it.
Right. And this is the thing. I mean, listen to this. So this was the Fulham team last night. Now, bearing in mind, this is a Fulham team that are 3 points behind us. Brighton are 2 points behind us, right? This is the Fulham team. Leno, Tete, Adarabeo, Ream Robinson, Harry Reid, Paulinho, Willian, who's about 107.
Yeah.
Pereira, Bobby Cordova Reid, and Mitrovic. Now, when I look at this, I look at the Brentford 11 that played the other night that cost something like 18 million to build.
Yeah, without their star player, and they beat Liverpool.
For me, there is no excuse.
No, there's not. I watched
that
Brentford game, and I sat there and I was like, wow, I wish Antonio Conte could get our Tottenham players working like that. They scored 2 offside goals and I think scored a third in like 5 minutes.
I know.
It was something stupid like that. And I was like, we would never, ever do that.
See, Brentford, for me, don't get me wrong, Brentford do what they have to do. Brentford spend a lot of the time sitting back and containing because obviously they have to. They're Brentford. But then when they have that 10, 15-minute spell like they did against us, they all go forward and go for it. I don't ever see us start a game with a 10, 15-minute put pressure on the other team's back four, run at their fullbacks, try and beat. I don't see any of that. So that's why when people talk to me about, and this isn't about Levy out, Conte out, I'm not saying that. This is about, come on, mate, you've got to take some responsibility here because the way you're setting us up is dreadful. Yeah. I'll ask you this, Jack, and then I'll let you go because I do need to get Carl on and a few other people, right? I'll ask you this. If I said to Brentford, to Brighton, to Fulham, right, and I'm using those 3 because they're the 3 tucked in right behind us now and should be nowhere near us, really. If I said to those 3 clubs, would you like Romero? Would you like Longley? Would you like Perisic, Basuma, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Son, Kane, Kulusevski, Lloris, right? They're all going, yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Right? But apparently we haven't got any players to play any style of football. But Fulham, I watch attack teams.
I think, I agree. I think the argument comes from when people look at our bench, I think. When people look at our bench and they go, oh my God, Conte, that's when the comments start and they're like, oh my God, Conte's got nothing. What's he supposed to do? Yeah, the bench is
what about the first 11?
Diabolical. But yeah, exactly. What about
the first 11? This is the line I keep hearing from people, and it's valid. Oh, how's he meant to change that up at half time? All right, but what about the 10 diabolical first halves in a row?
Yeah, what about
why are they starting like that?
To actually go and attack like from the get-go? Maybe we go 1-0 up, and then maybe you're not sat there wondering what he needs to change. If we're 1-0 up, he doesn't need to change as much, does he? But no, all you hear is, the bench is diabolical. How is he supposed to change it? But no one's looking at the starting 11. No one's looking at our Golden Boot winner from last season. No one's looking at the World Cup winner. No one's looking at Kane. I don't think Kane's been as on it as he has been in previous seasons. He's playing well. He's having a really good season. But I think he looks worse because of the other below average players around him. Son, I'd sell Son.
That's not true. Look, that's not true, John. That is not true.
No,
You're
Spurs.
telling me. So Hongmin Son, Kulusevski, Bentancur, Basuma, Romero, Perisic don't get into these teams. Come on. This is where the defense of Conte gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? In the summer, nearly every Spurs fan was title challenge. Yeah. I reckon we're going to finish second. We're going to finish third. We're going to leave all these big clubs behind us. And then you get comments like, none of our players other than Kane were getting to Brentford, Brighton, or...
Did John know the Brentford starting 11 that faced Liverpool? I bet he didn't.
I mean, here we go. Let's have a look at that then, shall we?
Yeah.
Here's the Brentford. This is the Brentford 11 that swept past Liverpool.
Easily swept past Liverpool.
Now, if I said in the summer we're going to sign any of these players, probably, I mean, I was going to say other than Tony. Tony's not there. Everyone would have laughed at me. One of these players, two of these players, I did suggest signing, and people laughed at me. I'll tell you which two afterwards. They had Raya, Zanka, Pinnock, Ben Mee, Rossoslev, Jensen, Norgard, Janelt, Henry, Umbuemo, Visser. Right? Now, I'm not knocking those players. I think what they've done is phenomenal.
Of course.
They're a team, right?
You can't tell me Kulu doesn't get in there. Or Bentancur, or any of the others you listed.
Yeah,
they definitely do.
So Romero doesn't get in that back three.
Yeah.
Or Longley.
The World Cup winner.
I suggested in the summer, said to people, if we're struggling to sign the big names like Bastoni at centre-half, why not try and get in Tarkowski and me?
Yeah.
Two centre-halves that love defending. And oh my God, we're Spurs. We're much better than that. And now it's flipped full circle that we don't have the players these days.
We have no one, yeah. We don't have the players to compete.
This guy just sticks up for everything bad about the club. If Spurs fans are not supposed to talk, if Spurs fans are not supposed to talk about Chelsea or Liverpool sitting behind Tottenham because it's temporary, you shouldn't talk about temporary form of Fulham or Brentford. Now, I think you're missing the point. I don't care where Brentford, Fulham, Brighton are in the league. For me, it's that when I watch those teams, they're organised. Those teams won't finish above us because they don't have the firepower we have.
They don't have the longevity to go 38 games a season at that form. But what they're doing is they're playing better football than us, which isn't hard at the moment at all. I would honestly much rather watch. I'd much rather watch Brentford play football than Spurs at the moment because it is shocking, and I think it makes it worse that it's the club that we support, and to watch what's happened this season compared to the second half of last season is just polar opposites. We picked ourselves up. The team togetherness was there. No one was complaining that we don't have the players because they were playing better, and Conte got them.
Yeah. This is what I mean. It's too many, Jack. It's too many convenient excuses.
Yeah, exactly.
In the summer window, I had so many people come into my show. I did a show every Friday with Kuva. We did a fan phoning show. Everyone who came on, Savva, you're negative. We've had a great window. We're challenging. We've got two players in every position.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now they're speaking exactly the opposite.
Right. Now it's not that. It's, oh my God, but look at the players he's got. He's not been backed. Hang on. Mikhail, come on. Everything I say, you find a reason why it's not true. Come on to the show. I think you're missing a point. My point is this: we can crow about being above Liverpool and Chelsea in the league right now, right? We can crow about it for this moment in time. But I'll ask you this: what have those two clubs won in the last decade between them? Yeah, and history has shown us that we do this a lot. We have moments where we're above them. We had a couple of years we were above Man City. We had a couple of years we were above Man United. We had a couple of years we were above Arsenal. All of those clubs in the last 5-6 years win things constantly.
Yeah.
So I don't look at Liverpool and Chelsea and laugh. That's not my concern. Right? No. I'm not worried. They'll come back.
I look at Liverpool and Chelsea and go, I'm really jealous of the transfer window and the business that you do. They've, Liverpool, the thing with Liverpool is they're actually coming off the back of a rebuild, right? Because they've actually won trophies. And Chelsea have just got a new owner in and a new manager.
And Chelsea, this is the thing that people are so short-sighted. When you look at Chelsea, are they in great form? No,
No.
of course they're not, because they're below us. But Chelsea have just got, in the last 6 months, a brand new owner who's chucking money at it, a brand new manager. Last two weeks ago, they got a brand new technical director of football. Right? They will spend their way out of this.
Yeah, agreed.
Whether or not it's with Potter, without Potter, our fans will go, "Oh, Potter's shit, sack him."
Until they overtake us.
When other clubs have shit managers, keep them there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Potter's shit, by the way. I'm not saying he's shit. I feel for Potter. I feel that Potter's gone to a club that was on a downward trajectory with a new owner, without centre forwards. And I think that he's gone straight into, right, go 2 games every, and I think he needs some time. Whether they give him that time, I don't know. But one thing is for sure, if you're a Chelsea fan right now, already next summer, you've got Nkunku. Right? Already now, Badashili's coming in. Fofana's hardly played for them since they signed him for big money.
Is that the guy from Monaco? They've just signed a guy from Monaco.
Yeah, Badashili, the centre half. Yeah. So they're going to have Badashili, who's a good age as well, Fofana, who's a good age, and then you've got Koulibaly, the experience. If they and now, have you seen what they're doing this morning? The reports are that they are putting in a bid for Mudryk to try and take him away from Arsenal.
To hijack Arsenal's deal. I did see that. Yeah, but again, you won't see Chelsea fans going laughing at Arsenal. They'll be going, yeah, that's a good signing, young prospect with loads of talent. Get him into a team with other more experienced players, and he's going to be one of the best players, possibly one of the best players in the world in like 4 or 5 years. If he goes to a top club and plays and wins trophies, he's going to be huge. But Tottenham won't do that.
No, unfortunately, we won't. Now, again, if you were Chelsea, sorry, hold on 1 second. If you were Chelsea and you buy, let's say they get Mudryk, right? If they get Mudryk, they get Enzo Fernandez, and they've got Nkunku coming in next year. Think their forward line with Nkunku and Mudryk. Now imagine they get a top striker. I mean, I don't know how in any way, shape or form any Spurs fan can concentrate on them when we are in such a dreadful position.
Yeah, but that's what we do. We don't like the truth. So what we'll do is we'll look at anything, we'll grasp at anything that anyone else is doing and try and put a negative spin on it. And that just keeps us busy. And we're not focused then on why our club is going downhill so much and so rapidly. But I think going back to Chelsea, I honestly think that team with those new players in honestly really push Man City. Obviously Man City have got money that they'll probably spend and probably improve their team even more. It's not just one team that has a transfer window, but that team on paper is honestly nearly as good as the City team is now.
Well, I mean,
and that's with the robot up front.
They're building. Whatever we think of their new owner, he's come in and he's put his money where his mouth is. He's bought the club, and they're going bang, bang, bang. Now, I'm jealous. I don't want to admit.
I'm very jealous.
But what we'll do as fan base, we'll go Enzo Fernandez, 100 million.
Oh, you've overpaid for him. That'll be one. Oh, Mudryk. Arsenal are overpaying for Mudryk. But if we signed him for that money.
This is what you get. Look at this is where our fans' mindset is.
But you would take him in a heart. If Conte came out and went, we've just signed Enzo Fernandez for 120 million, that comment would not exist. You would not care how much you paid for a player. If you've gone and got him, you've got him.
Our fans want us to be better, but then worry about money spent.
Money, yeah. Why is that irrelevant to you?
First and foremost, David Clark. Who are you to say he's a £20 million player? Let's put this in perspective. Emerson Royal was signed for 30 million. Yeah. Ndombele was signed for 65 million. Yeah. If Chelsea and here's what makes me laugh, right? Even if Chelsea spend 120 million on him, if he doesn't work, they'll get rid of him in the next 2 years.
They'll write it off.
But this is Spurs fans. Look, we belittle how other clubs
and the reason the reason why they'll be able to write it off is because they've got so much other talent in their club that they can sell for a big profit. The Enzo Fernandez loss won't actually mean anything to them because they'll go and sell someone else. They'll sell, I don't know, Koulibaly for 40 million. They'll sell, someone else, and they'll make up that they'll make back that money. But
That's what they
we
do.
don't see it as that.
They'll sell on, like, from the youth team when they need to. If they have to sell
Conor Gallagher.
at
How
any
much
point,
is Conor Gallagher going to be worth in a few?
He'll go for 40 or 50 now because of the market.
Oh, right now, yeah.
Trevor Chalobah, if they have to sell him, this is the difference. Chelsea operate as a club every year that want to win and get better. They don't get it right all the time, but they keep going. We operate as a club that don't want to get better, and then our fans belittle clubs that operate in a way that they want to get better.
Yeah.
I don't care. If they came out today and said Spurs have signed 120 million on anyone, right? I'm not going 120. I'm like, wow, you've done that. Chelsea, that money is a drop in the ocean for Chelsea's owners. They don't care.
Yeah.
Holy Goalie agreed. He said he saw Mudryk firsthand against Celtic in the Champions League. Whoever gets him as a player and a half, he is.
I've only seen bits of him, but from what I've seen, he looks top notch. The best thing about it is because he's so young. He's got well over a decade of football in him, and he's only going to get better as well. Signing for however much, he'll double his worth will be doubled in, not too long at all.
For sure, but I don't understand this comment, by the way. Sorry, Mika, I don't. When have we had a worse season? Are you asking when we've had a worse season than Brighton or Brentford? If you're asking that, then obviously that makes no sense. I mean, let's be fair. These two clubs have been in the Premier League for how long? With what budget? Really? They don't have Kane, Son, Kulusevski. We shouldn't be. We should be above them, but we're like 2 or 3 points above them. They should be nowhere near us. People saying Todd Bowley nearly bought Spurs. The thing is, can you imagine, Jack? Right? If Todd Bowley had bought Spurs, right? Would we really, really, really care that he's just splashing cash here, there, and everywhere, or would we be like kids in a theme park?
Oh, yeah, 1,000,000%. It'd be the best thing that's ever happened to this club ever. Like, all you need to do is look back at the history and look at how many trophies we've won with what owners, and it's there for you to see. It's not, you don't have to dig that much at all. But yeah, I think the best thing we need to do now, I agree with you. I think Conte needs to walk, not because he's a shit manager or he plays shit football. I couldn't really care about that at the moment, but purely because to show the owners up. Levy then only has one card left to play, and we all know what card that is. And as soon as he plays it, I think that's it. I think all the Conte in fans will go ballistic, and then and then the rest of them that are Pochettino in, we just need to wait for 6 months. You won't get backed. They'll all turn against him, and then I think we've then got ourselves an absolute shit show where there's serious potential then to kick up a massive stink and like go at it properly. I want to see games being boycotted.
I agree.
I want to hear the chants that I heard. I saw some videos on Twitter at the Aston Villa game. Beautiful. Keep going. That's just the start.
I agree. I mean, Borodin, I agree with this. Spurs fans have nothing regarding transfers to celebrate. So some of them decide to belittle other clubs' deals, sour grapes. Yeah, exactly. And again, David, listen, the fact that we lost 45 million on Ndombele, this is the difference. Those bigger clubs move them on.
Yeah,
we've had him for 4 years, right? And at the end of the day, when you say you couldn't give a shit whether Chelsea are being stupid in the market, if Chelsea wins something in the next 2-3 years, why would they care? I don't understand how we're not learning from Chelsea's last 20 years of ownership. They do this.
Yeah,
they spend big.
That comment's ironic as well because he's still on our books, which means he's still getting paid quite a bit. So we lose money regardless whether we keep him or sell him. We lose money. So
this is the mentality. This is the mentality. The owners don't want to win, and fans don't want to spend big money to get players. Let's be fair, right? Enzo Fernandez. Look, we all saw him have a good World Cup, right? We've all got to be honest. How much have we seen of him outside of that? Probably not a lot.
Not a lot.
So I can't sit here and go, he's worth 100 million. He's worth 20. I don't know, right? I don't know. But this is it. These clubs look at these players and go, yeah, you're going to be big. Let's get you young, right? Now, clubs like Benfica and Sporting Lisbon and Ajax go, okay, cool. You want our players, you're paying this.
That's why they're the best at them. That's why they're the best.
Absolutely. Now, the difference is if he comes in and smashes it up for Chelsea for 4 or 5 years, it works out.
No one's complaining of the price tag either.
No one.
He paid 120 million for a player that won you 3 Champions Leagues, the title once. He's worth however much money that's worth, and he's worth it.
Absolutely. Look, I think the thing is,
go on.
I think at the end of the day, if you're winning things, if the club is winning things and constantly generating Champions League revenue, and by the way, all these people who don't understand, Chelsea have a fantastic business model behind the scenes. I used to work there. I know, right? Chelsea don't just make money from player sales. They've got a fantastic business model. So they're bringing loads of money into the club every year, right? And just even from the youth team, look how much money they make from selling their youth players every season, right? Listen, where they are right now, yeah, they've got a lot to sort out. I don't doubt it.
They're not finishing there though. They're gonna reach for top 4. They're gonna reach for top 4. They're gonna final of something.
Who's gonna win a trophy next? Spurs or Chelsea?
Exactly.
You know it, don't you?
We might win
it. What?
We might win the Audi Cup again.
We might win the Audi Cup. This is the thing. I think our fans need to. We seem to I hear fans going, "Oh, but ethical and FFP." I'm a football fan, right?
We haven't spent enough money to worry about FFP.
But let owners deal with that. Let scouts deal with that. I'm a football fan. I want to wake up today and go, "Oh my God, Spurs have hijacked a deal for Mudryk for 80 million." Bang! I don't care that Spurs have spent 80 million. It's not. If I say it's not my money, it kind of is depending on what I buy from there or whatever. But it's, again, it's not about spending tens of millions, about getting the right scouting system in place like Monaco or Leicester. Yeah, but David, Chelsea do both of those things.
I was going to say, I agree with him. I agree. Like if we did our youth club properly, if we did our youth academy properly, we wouldn't have the issue that we do now of, we've got no one to bring off the bench. Because if we had it properly, you'd be like, right, he's good, he can come on, he's a striker that's developing well, etc. Just like Chelsea do. But then they also, like you said, they go and spend the money. So they do both and they do it really well.
But the thing is as well, they've just hired one of the best technical directors of football in the game because they want to start concentrating on bringing through some younger players. Now, they've already gone and done it with Fofana. That striker, Fofana. They've already gone and done it. There's one there. Plus what they're bringing through their own youth team. Chelsea have got all these avenues to look at. Spurs have got none. We don't have any good youth players.
No.
We don't do well in the transfer market. I just don't think we should. Even Liverpool. Let's look at Liverpool, right? Carl, I'll bring you on now as well, mate. Sorry, I forgot you in the background. Apologies. If anyone else would like to come on, the thing is in the chat. When we look at it, even Liverpool, right, we're above them at the moment. They're not playing well. I mean, they've won 4 of their last 5. So from that side of things, you could say they've got some form, but they're not playing well. This isn't Liverpool of last year and the year before. But what they have done, what you can see they're doing is they've brought in players to try and build, like Nunes, like Diaz, right? They've brought in young players like Harvey Elliott, like Fabio Carvalho.
You can see the vision. Right? You can see what they're doing.
Right. At Spurs, I look at it and go, I don't know what we're doing. If you look at our signings, Perisic is 33. What was the hope? Right? Spence was brought in, doesn't play. Longley was brought in on loan, so you can't build around that. Basuma doesn't get a game and is played, for me, dreadfully out of position. But why do we do this then, Jack? Is it to make ourselves feel better that we belittle the Chelseas, we belittle the Liverpools and the Man Uniteds and the Arsenals when these clubs go and win and spend?
I think in the long run, it's the long term. In the short term, we bring in, like, take Perisic, for example. I was excited when we bought him in because I was like, that's clearly a Conte signing, if you want to call it that, because he worked with him before. He's a good player. He's a winner. I was like, okay, considering that was our first signing at that window as well. So I was thinking maybe we're going to get proper signings, experienced players that we can actually now build around Kane and Son and the other few players that we've already got that are good. And maybe we're actually going to start building something here. But then the next thing that we did was sign Fraser Foster on a free, which I could sort of understand, but again, nothing to shout about. And then it was Jed Spence news for the next however long that was. Yeah. You've got Jed Spence, who, like you've said, who I don't know how old he is, 19?
I think he's like 22. I don't think he's a baby. I think he's like, that's young for me. But
after signing Perisic, who's won multiple Champions Leagues, you've then gone and signed a Championship player.
Yeah.
The two don't go. You've gone opposite ends of the spectrum.
I agree. Carl, let me bring you in here, Carl, and big up to yourself, mate. This is a good point. So Luan has made it clear, and I'll even take this back a year further. In the last 3 transfer windows, right, including this one that's only been open 4 days, last summer Liverpool bought Luis Diaz. In the summer they bought Darwin Núñez. In this window they bought Cody Gakpo. You can see now when Firmino moves on, when Salah moves, you can see what they're doing. At Spurs, we've had Kane and Son for so long that our fans would go mad if we slowly started to bring in these other players, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would, yeah. They would go mad.
I mean, do you think we need to adopt more of a model of like a Liverpool where they're looking at good players, but they're not that old? Diaz was what, mid-20s? Núñez is mid-20s. Fabio Carvalho was 18. Harvey Elliott, when they got him, was like 16. Should Bellingham they're looking at, I don't know if they'll get him, is what, 19. Should we be looking at a model like that if we're not looking at buying the best players?
I don't know really. Like, probably, yeah, I probably would, but not really. Like, players, if we're not going to get the best players, then I would probably say we would look at a model like that, but I have no idea. I'm not good at transfers.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a difficult one. I mean, Jack, in terms of, I've seen as well what we do is we'll look at Darwin Núñez and like struggling in front of goal, but I quite like him as a player. I feel like he's raw. I feel he could definitely sharpen up his game. But when you watch Liverpool, he's involved in absolutely everything. But we look there and go, oh my God, look at Núñez, he's rubbish. When at least he's got like 8 or 9 goals this year for them in all competitions. Whilst we've got Richarlison, who we don't even play him in his right position. Again, it stinks of us constantly belittling other clubs.
But again, if that was us and we signed Darwin Núñez, you would not know. There'd be no one complaining that Daniel Levy's finally splashed 85 million quid on a player,
right?
And also, it's clearly it's not Liverpool aren't struggling because of just Darwin Núñez.
No, of course not.
It's not. They're not playing Darwin Núñez and losing every game, and it's just because of one player. It's the team as a whole is coming off a big rebuild because they've actually gone and won things. You can see their midfield is aging, so they've now gone and they're now refreshing that. Mane they needed to sell, and they're right. We need to rebuild here. Who can we get in that can develop and turn into our next Mane? And it was they brought in Diaz, they brought in Cody Gakpo. They're clearly
look at this comment, Jack.
Liverpool
in the same season. So not only were they bringing in experience, they were bringing in and listen. I don't care. Harvey Elliott. I don't like his personality, but he's a very good footballer. He's a very good player. And
the difference is he came from Liverpool's academy.
He came from Fulham.
He came from Fulham Academy, which I'm sure is still better than the Spurs Academy.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
So we've got academy players. We just can't filter them through. Conte will take one look at them and go, no, I'd rather have the diabolical bench that we do have.
this is the thing, and this is a great point. We don't always agree, Mikhail, but I do agree with you. Liverpool signed Navigator 54 million. Do you hear them crying about it?
Exactly.
No,
They
want
move
Jude
them on.
Bellingham on top. This is the thing as well. Like, even when we look at a player like you look at Liverpool, how they've evolved in the last 5-6 years. They went from a team that finished below us 9 out of 10 seasons. And we crowed about it. Do you remember? It was, oh my God, look, we've overtaken Liverpool. I think we smashed them 4-1 at Wembley. And then from then on, they finished first or second or third every year for 6 years or 5 years. They've won everything. Yeah. And the thing is, what we don't understand is that team that won everything is coming to the end of a cycle. Yeah. And that is a rebuild. We talk about a rebuild from
finishing second in the Champions League.
Right. So that team has come to the end of the cycle. They're bringing new players. I think if any Liverpool fan has got half a brain cell on them, they'd realise, okay, we're going to have a little dip this year. We're going to have a dip. It's going to be a change of the guard. You can slowly but surely see he's changing things at centre half as well, at centre mid.
Yeah.
The front three has changed. And they'll be back. I think it's exciting to be a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I'd be very excited. And Klopp won't get sacked because he's got way too much credit in the bank.
Of course he has.
Let's say Liverpool finish 7th this season, Klopp's not going anywhere. Klopp will spend £200-300 million the following transfer window for 3 key players, freshen up the midfield because it's getting old. Maybe a new centre-back to play along Van Dijk or whoever it is. And they're coming straight back for the title. And that's what I hope Spurs do. I think now I've got to the point this season. I want us to finish 7th or 8th. I want Conte to walk. I want to get battered by Arsenal because that's the only time it's going to change. If we go and win today, I can guarantee you'll hear there'll be happy clappers on Twitter going, we played really well. It's not as bad as we thought. Conte's not a bad, manager. Levy's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And we miraculously go and get a draw against Arsenal. We're not going to protest if we get some results. We need to get. I think we need a really big reality check. I think we need to come 7th, 8th. I think Arsenal need to go and push City for the title, which they're currently doing.
It sums it up, doesn't it? That it's difficult because as a Spurs fan, what I never want to sit here and say is, oh my God, we need to completely capitulate for people to wake up. But I feel all the while we're scraping 5ths and 4ths because of Kane and Son, which I think is coming to an end now.
Yeah, I also
for
think
me,
that.
It's papered over what the rest of the club actually needs. Kyle, listen, before I let you guys go, Carl, anything else you want to say on Tottenham before you go, mate?
I just want to say, as I've been saying, I don't really want to hear any more Conte out stuff because, I don't really care if he walks because if he goes, then nothing's going to change, like you said. And I just get behind the team tonight. Like I said, 2-2 because we're not going to win. Our record there is not bad, only 1 loss and a few wins. We haven't won since 2018. But tonight, just get behind the team. And as always, Levy out.
Yeah, I mean, Carl, I think this. Look, one thing I would say is, I'm not hearing. I keep seeing these people saying, "Oh, the Conte out mob." I'm not actually seeing a mob of people saying it. What I am seeing is a mob of people like myself saying it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I've not seen too many. Let me ask. There's 172 in the chat, right? 172 of you. And only 45 likes. So first of all, sort that out. Don't be tight like Levy. Sort the likes out. Second of all, in the chat, is anyone actively, and I mean, live and die by it, Conte out?
I'm not Conte out because of the football, as bad as it is. I'm not Conte out because of himself. The only reason why I'm Conte out is because I think it will truly force some change, which is putting pressure on the owners. So the only reason why I'm Conte out, I'd actually quite like him to stay, but we're now at a point where it's obvious he's not going to get the back in. So I want him to pull Levy's pants down and walk and say, "I've not been backed. They made promises and didn't keep them. This club is a mess."
Yeah.
And as much as I want a result again, I want results. I want to win. Of course, I want to win. I want to win against Arsenal. I don't want Arsenal battering us. But if we're realistic about it, if that truly gets us where we want to be, in the sense of we go and lose that game 3-0 at home to our bitter rivals, how much pressure will that put on the owners? That's going to invite so much pressure on the owners. We need to go down before we come up.
Quickly, Jack, I've just done a poll. Hopefully, let me know if you can see it. I've just done a poll. I don't normally do polls, but I'll start doing them now. Listen, I've said before, I'm not actively Conte out. I've said it in moments of anger after games, right? I've said it in moments after the game. But when I actually then step back as an adult, sit and go, Savva, have a word with yourself. The way I look at it is this, do I care that Antonio Conte is our manager? Not really. I don't. I don't buy into this. He's this elite man. I don't really care. Do I want him sacked? No, I don't particularly want him sacked. I don't know what that will achieve. Do I want him to walk and show up the owners? Hell yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to be. It can't be the end of the season, because if he does it after the end of the season, there's nowhere to protest.
Yeah.
Right? There's no games. And then what that gives the club to do is 3 months, 2.5 months, where they go, all right, PR.
Yeah.
Hey, 50% shirts. Hey, look at this new contract for Eric Dyer for fight. Right.
Yeah.
It needs to be now or at the end of this window, so he can turn around and go. And I would love Conte to come out and go, I left because they didn't have the same vision as me. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah. That says it all. No hidden messages. Plain and clear. I did not get the back in. They don't want to challenge. That's it.
Yeah. I'm not Conte out. I'm of the opinion I had when he joined. Why have you joined, mate?
Yeah.
why did you join Tottenham Hotspur? You have ruined yourself. Listen, said it all along, right? Yes, we want the owners out, and that's the main aim, right? But fans are allowed to criticize Conte's tactics.
Oh,
You're allowed to criticize his substitutions, his decisions. Just because you do that doesn't mean you're not ENIC out, right? Football still has many different strings to the bow, right? What I would say is this. Even if we all rallied today, even if we all rallied, went to the stadium and protested, and even if ENIC agreed, which let's be fair, they're not going to because it's a cash cow, even if they agreed to sell, guys, it's not happening in a year, right? This will drag on for years, which makes it redundant Conte staying anyway. So all of this Conte versus Levy, at the moment, it's not Conte versus Levy. I'm sorry, at the moment, there's one winner, and I hate that. But if they sold it tomorrow, if they left tomorrow, cool. New owners, Conte, great. Give him what he wants. We're not there. And this is the thing. This is why these people that cannot bring themselves to say, oh, any accountability sits with Conte for the football, it detracts from me the message. And what I mean, it detracts the message of we're now saying that AVB, who people wanted out, Jose, Poch, Redknapp, Yol, Ramos, Santini, Hoddle, all of these people that were at some point, we want them out, get out our club, they need to be sacked. They also worked for these owners. And they were also held to accountability for what they did on the pitch. So there's no reason why Conte isn't.
Yeah, it's going to be it's no different. It's no different at all. But I think people need to realise it needs to get worse before it stands any chance of getting better. Like I said earlier, I don't want to lose to Arsenal. I don't want to lose tonight. But I think we have to in order to force change. That's what I'm saying. It goes back to me. I'm not Conte out. I like him as a manager. He would do really good things at the right club. The right club is not Tottenham Hotspur for him at all. That's why I'm Conte out. He needs to He needs to pull Levy's pants down, get up, and just say, "Not backed. was never going to be backed. There's no vision at the club. I'm out. See you later.
Would you like to know so far where we're at with the poll?
Yeah.
So far, it's a lot closer than I thought, to be honest. Well, it's not close, but it's a lot more than I thought. So far, we've had 58 votes, and 39% of people have said yes, they want him out. But I'm not one of them has said that. But at the end of the day, I just truly believe that this narrative of if you criticize Conte, you are part of the problem at this club. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is, let's be fair, right? I don't think anyone, I'm not even going to put a poll out. I don't think anyone in their heart truly believes Antonio Conte will be the manager of this club next season, right? I don't think we do, okay? What will happen is the new manager will come in. So what are we saying then? That manager then can't be held accountable for any decisions they make? Of course they can. This is what I mean. This is when if you're going to die on your hill with a view, if you're going to die on your hill with that view, it's got to be fair.
Yeah. It has to be accurate.
A fair view. Because otherwise, if Ryan Mason, for example, let's just assume Ryan Mason gets the job on a 4-year deal, right? And they go, right, go on, build a team, Ryan. Does that then mean for 4 years we can't criticise a single decision that Ryan Mason makes in a game? That's it. So if that's fine, if that's the case, great. We can't criticise Conte for anything, then we can't criticise the next manager for anything. So we can't criticise a single decision at this club until ENIC goes. It doesn't make sense, guys. It's not right.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's a childish view.
That's why you have a manager in the first place, to make decisions. And then you're saying he can't be held accountable. Well, that's his job, isn't it?
But this is what you get. Don't criticise Conte. No, I will criticise Conte for the awful football I'm watching. I will. I will always stand up for that. You know, it's... look, at the end of the day, I'm so frustrated. Listen, guys, I'm going to ask you to jump off if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for joining. I'm live. By the way, I'm not closing the show, but you guys, if you want to pop back on, I'm live with Kuva tonight at 10 p.m. We'll be doing a fan show. It will be either a nice win or a very toxic place to be. So
I think I know which one it's going to be. I think it's going to be that. I'll see if I can jump on for a bit.
No worries, guys. See you later, all right?
Perfect. See you later.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
Guys and girls, okay, I'm going to put the link back in the stream if anyone else wants their say. There's 180 of you in this chat. Surely I can get more than 69 likes. So far, the poll is at 73 votes and 39% still would have him out. I mean, I think it goes to show how fractured our fan base is, right? Let's go to some of the comments. Mick Howson, I don't think he ruined himself. He'll go to Juve and win them a league. Yeah, I don't mean ruin himself forever. I just mean like he's ruined himself while he's at Spurs. There's nothing good that can come of this for him, apart from more grey hair and a lot of stress. Phil, he did have 20 million reasons to join, but you've got to ask yourself, if Pep was out of work, would he join Tottenham? Not a chance. If Conte walks, at the very least, I hope it makes ENIC sell. I agree with this one. I agree. If that's what I want. I don't want him out. I want him to walk. Huge difference. I don't want him sacked. Some bloke has said, like Sid James in a toilet factory, everyone out. Brilliant. Steve Diaz said, I must be in the Matrix because seemingly I can't be Conte out and ENIC Levy out. Again, it's childish. To suggest you can't be both is childish. Steve, we're adults, right? You as an adult, I as an adult, everyone as an adult can say what they want. I can say Levy out and criticise Conte. I'm not saying Conte out, but I can say Levy out, but criticise Conte's tactics. There you go. Great work. Football. Why can't we want Conte and ENIC gone? David Clark said, let's talk fact. Conte will be long gone before ENIC are. Absolutely. I agree with this, David. This is my point. all of these people that think if you criticise Conte, it means Levy wins. Levy's winning anyway. Levy's winning until the day he sells this club. And I don't know how quickly people think that. Oh, listen, I'll protest, I will, but I think it's going to take, I don't even know if the protest will work. I don't, because they're going to get the money in the Field Stadium. DM and said, Conte said we could challenge the titles last year. Why did he not buy a decent right wing back and left back? That makes his system work. Well, the funny thing about this is Conte came out last year and said, I'm not here just for fourth. We need to think bigger. And yet last week came out and said, oh, Spurs fans' expectations are too high. It's like, well, hang on, mate. You told everyone. You told everyone to start thinking higher. Luca 14, big yourself up and said, would it not be better Conte stays for as long as he can this season throwing truth bombs? I don't know, but what are the truth bombs doing? The biggest truth bomb would surely be walking away and saying, I can't win anything with that club, how they're managed. And that for me would be the biggest truth bomb. At the moment, there's lots of little digs that we all know anyway. Jose made little digs. AVB made little digs. I don't know if they're truth bombs. I don't think he's told us anything we don't know. I see the manager is back to being mates with Levy again today, asking him to come to the game on Sunday. I mean, look, none of this matters. None of it matters, mate. Again, this is what I don't get. Stop helping Levy. Yes, we have played poorly all season, but why is that Conte and Jose only can't win trophies at this club? Levy out. The discussion here, you're discussing two different things. You're using the trophy argument versus how bad our football is. Yeah, Chem wants to watch football. Sorry if I'm speaking for you, Chem. I think I'm right in saying that for you. Trophies should not be in our mind anywhere near at the moment with what's going on at this club. For me, I just want to see a manager that can get a team organised. I don't even think he can organise a team at the moment. How does Conte outforce change? That's BS. I'm sorry. I don't know who said that. What happens on the pitch is on the players. How can Conte be at fault for Lloris? The best Conte can do is bench him and play Forster. Yeah, but Hugo Lloris isn't the reason we play god-awful football, is it? Bone start. We can blame mistakes, of course we can, but he's not the reason why we set up the way we do under Conte. Conte and 100% and back him. Yeah, but we know that's not going to happen. I keep seeing this. It's not going to happen. I don't know why people believe this. Here we go. Phil Pierce said, issue is that eventually the manager is always the only person that pays the price. Unfortunately, Phil, you are right. Unfortunately, you are right. Until someone finds 5 billion to buy the club. That is correct. And I know that's awful, but that's the same of every club in any country. Yeah, maybe because of the tactics are a bit dated for this league. Might work in Italy, but not over here. I completely agree with you. I think his tactics are god-awful to watch. I really do. Bone Stark, these players are useless. We need to get rid of them. Are all the players useless? Let's be really, really honest. This is where we get silly. Bone Stark, do me a favour. Change that sentence so it makes sense, because they're not all useless. They were hard potch and most will forget about the real problem, for sure. Of course, I've said that since Conte joined. I've not changed my opinion on that. That is what they will do. Whether we want it or not, that is what they will do. Royal Gaming, I'm putting you in a timeout. Stop swearing for no reason on my stream. How can a manager be held accountable if he's not backed? What, held accountable for the god-awful football we watch? When we're saying he's not been backed, has he got such poor players that we have to play worse football than Brentford, Brighton and Fulham? Come on, it's ridiculous. Do you three think it will definitely be Poch again next season? I think it's the plan. I think it's the plan if Conte walks. I'll put the link in if anyone did want to come in and say anything. I think it's the plan. I'd love one of these ENIC in account. One of these people who's saying you're not allowed to criticise Conte at all to come on and tell me. But those people don't ever seem to want to debate. They just want to preach. Again, Bone Stark, come on. The player Conte can't coach out stupidity. But again, you haven't answered the question, Bone Stark. Why is his style of football awful? There you go. Yeah, absolutely, David. Spot on, spot on, spot on, spot on. Absolutely spot on. I'll say it again. Conte is a better first 11 than Mourinho had, yet he got slagged off for poor performances. Yet fans are giving Conte a free pass no matter how shit the performance. This is the best sentence I've read since I started my YouTube channel. David, we don't see eye to eye on everything, but this is spot on. How I didn't hear anyone saying you weren't allowed to criticize Jose Mourinho, but we're not allowed to criticize Conte. It's madness. Again, this is welcome to the 12-year-olds who are now in the chat. I haven't even said I'm Conte out, but if anyone is Conte out, that's up to them. They're not secretly leaving in. What a absolutely pathetic thing to say. Absolutely childish thing to say. Again, this isn't going to happen. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. Hang on 1 second. Brian Daigle's going to come on. I was just telling him that the link is in. There you go. Brian Daigle, come on. Now, Brian Daigle is huge in Livia. Let's see what he says about Conte. I think anyone will flop. This is the point. I haven't, by the way, I haven't asked for Poch to come back. You do know that, right? I've not actively sat here and said I want Poch back. I just believe that's their rabbit in the hat. I think people need to listen better. I think, me saying I think they'll bring Poch back isn't the same as me saying I want Poch back. I want Conte to stay. What's the point in him going? Okay, let me flip the question. What's the point in him staying? What's the point in him staying? At the moment, what's the point in him staying? I don't understand why it has to be either Conte in or Conte out. Why can't it just be that we are allowed to mention the bad things he does and the good things he does? Why are we not allowed to do that? Brian Daigle, how we doing, my man?
I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. We were doing a stream meant to be at 11 o'clock today, but I overslept and didn't wake up to 11:08. So yeah, I was fashionably late to my own stream for once. Just did a whole thing reviewing the video that Levy put out 18 months ago, the whole interview, and reflected on the lies. So we had a good discussion. And then I saw you were on. I thought, do you know what? Let me come and speak with my brother Savva.
Talking of lies, Brian Daigle, THFC, this is a lie. If anyone by now does not know my position on Antonio Conte, please don't just say I'm Conte out. It's a lie. I think everyone, if anyone is telling you I'm Conte out, they're not me. Me, Richard Savva, look, I'm real. I'm not a hologram. I am not Conte out. I am, what's the point in Conte being here? I am, please, Antonio Conte, walk away and expose the owners. I am also an adult that is allowed to criticise his style of play because I don't like it, right? I don't think that's changed. Brian, since we've been talking, I've been very clear. I've come out one or two times after games when I'm angry and said, get him out. Immediate reaction, right? But in hindsight, I see that's not the best thing for this club. The best thing for this club for me is him exposing them, walking, and not at the end of the season, Brian. Yeah, because you can't protest in the summer. You can't do anything. They'll just spin a PR machine. For me, January the 31st, February the 1st, guys, I've had enough. I'm going. Boom. That's where I am. So please stop the lies. I am not Conte out.
I have to say as well, I mean, I just want to big up two exposed players. One of them has always been consistent, which is Jermaine Genius, who came out last week again and spoke out. And I've just retweeted it, and I don't know if people have seen it. I'm sure a lot of people have. I was late to the party. I don't know if you've seen it, Savva. Someone who works for TalkSport, who has been getting a lot of grief recently, and I've been giving some to him myself, in JB O'Hara, for comments he's saying. I've just seen a wonderful video. Welcome back to the table, JB O'Hara, because on Sky Sports, you have just slammed the board harder than anyone has, like ex-player wise.
Did he slam the board?
Oh, it's like when they say he started running out the players saying they're not good enough. He said, "This board grow." He didn't say the words "grow backbone," but then he was always like, he said, "This board ain't good enough." And they said, "Do you think he'll be backed?" He goes, "No, they're not going to be backed." He is literally it's a phenomenal. I've retweeted it since on my Twitter. He's even saying why he brought Conte in. Why bring these players? Why bring this manager in? We're all asking this question.
Right.
Why bring this manager in?
Brian, I asked this. Do you know how I remember the day he joined so clearly? Right. I don't know if you remember. He signed for Spurs on my birthday. Right. He signed on my birthday, and I actually called up TalkSport and said to them two things. I said, guys, I'm really pleased Conte's come in because, yes, he's a proven winner and hopefully he sorts out this board. But, guys, I'm also disappointed because he has now just put his career the same way Jose Mourinho's has gone in terms of he won't be backed. And I guarantee I'll be calling you back, TalkSport, in a year, in 2 years to say, told you nothing's changed, right?
Yep.
So,
this is the thing. I mean, like I said, I can see people saying, I need to see this video. If you follow me on Twitter, I've literally just tweeted it about within the last 10 minutes. So it's right at the top of my timeline. It's a fantastic video. Jamie O'Hara has come in for a hell of a lot of criticism recently for his views and what TalkSport have been putting out or what he's been saying on TalkSport. But I'm one of those people that if I'm man enough to criticise, I've got to be man enough to praise when praise is due. And Jamie O'Hara, you deserve a hell of a lot of praise. A hell of a lot of praise for what you just got out and said. But we will see what is like I said, this month is telling, isn't it?
I mean, it absolutely is. I mean, look, I just want to look at comments like this. First and foremost, I mean, I hope you're addressing this to the room and not me. Because again, I'll say it, I'm not Conte out. My problem with this comment that people always make is the most basic of observations. When we're talking about Liverpool stuck with Klopp, right? Man City stuck with Pep, there's a huge difference. They were backing them from day one, right? They were backing them. Conte is, I don't know if his comments have not, I don't know if people didn't know this from before he joined, guys, and welcome, Phil. I don't know if people didn't know this from before he joined us or since he's joined us. Conte is not a manager you bring in and go, right, there's a 5-year project, see what you can do, mate. He is not that guy, right? For me, I just don't understand, Phil, how fans are still going, oh, give him a project.
It's delusional.
He's not.
It's straight up delusional. How you doing, Brian, man? Long time no see.
You know what, mate? Do you know what? Like, I saw you on the channel yesterday. I was like, I know this dude. Then I saw you just now, and I was like, is it who I think? Mate, this dude right here has my utmost respect. He was one of the few that came to the NFL protests, was walking down the high road with me with the placards, with everything. He is a unit. He looked like my security guard. He is mate, full up. Happy New Year to you and your family. It's great to see you.
You too, my brother. You too.
Mate, we'll be meeting up now. I'm back in London for a few months. Definitely. It's a pleasure to see you again, brother.
And you too, my friend. You too.
I mean, Phil, why is it that our fans can't understand that if you want a manager to build for 4 or 5 years, then you don't hire a Jose, you don't hire a Conte, you hire a project manager type manager. I don't understand all these people that are going, let him be here for 4 years. What, like he wants to be here for 4 years? He signed an 18-month contract, for crying out loud. If he wanted to be here for 4 years, why has he signed an 18-month contract, Phil?
I told you, like I said yesterday, yeah, he's a smokescreen. And I think he's a smokescreen until Poch became available. And the fact that when we hired Conte, yeah, Poch was still at PSG. So we couldn't get that project manager that Levy wanted. and he didn't want to pay the compensation fee to PSG. So basically, we was just stuck with Conte because Conte was available at the time. He wasn't in a job or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But it's delusional in thinking that you're going to get a now manager like Conte who doesn't have time to stay around and build up players to do the job. It's delusional.
This is the thing. What I find really tough, Brian, is it feels like now we've got to the stage where you can't say anything about anything without it coming back. And I know you're huge and one of the biggest movers in the community for ENIC Levy Out, and you know my feelings on that. We talk every day on WhatsApp and you know when we have our little cuddle sessions that we won't tell anyone about. But the
virtual cuddle sessions, which hopefully someday soon will become actual.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And I tested negative from COVID today, so I'm allowed to cuddle and kiss people again.
Oh,
right,
fantastic!
But I just don't understand why it's now become you cannot say anything about. I can't talk about transfers. I can't talk about tactics. I can't talk about substitutions. I can't talk about halftime team. I can't talk about anything now without somebody labeling you Conte in or Conte. Why do we have to be either? Why can't I just be? I don't care who's manager. Why do I have to have a label against my name?
Listen. One of the reasons that this is happening now, and I'm not one for the people will know I am very, very, very as staunch as they come Levy Out. There is no, I am so far gone on the spectrum that if you look at the scales, I'm off the scales in another continent. How far I've gone. So for me, obviously, but what people, where I get it. People say, well, if you, and I hate this from Levy on the fence people or Levy in, if you don't say you Levy out, it means you're Levy in, which I hate that notion. Yeah. I hate that notion. We
can't tell each other, Brian, what, like, if I said to you, do you want a sandwich, brown bread or white bread? And you're going, I don't care. Well, no, hang on, mate. No, you've got to choose. You either like white bread or you like brown bread. It don't make sense. You're an adult.
No, what was it? So with that and with what's going on, that part I don't get. But where people are getting this muddled up, or not even muddled up, but what I would say is people are thinking if there's any, let's just say in this spectrum, it's 80% Levy out, 20% Conte out. I'm just picking these figures out at random.
Yeah.
That 20%. People feel that that's 20% too much attention that's going on to Conte that should be focused on. But the truth is, you can be one. You can be both. You can be Conte in Levy out. I mean, you can be Conte in Levy out. You can be Levy in Conte in, Conte out. You could be both. But where I get this coming from is that if you're saying Conte out during this talk, which is Levy out, that 20% is 20% we need on this side. It needs to be, but I don't get me wrong. I get this 20%. I get it. Do
you know what? I don't even think there is like. Look, it's easy. We can do a little poll. You know, there's 225 people in the chat. We can do a poll of which so far 38% of 141 people have said that they want him out. Right? We can do these little polls, but let's be really, really honest. I think if you looked at the wider fan base, I don't think 38% of the fan base would ever say Conte out. I like to think, and I'll big myself up here, I like to think I've taken the more grown-up route of, look, I want ENIC and Levy out, but the problem is, Brian, and even you, somebody who wants them out more than anyone I know in the world, right? Even if we do all the protesting, even if we manage to get them out, you and I both know, Brian, that isn't happening in the next 12 months. This is a process. It's going to take time. And even if they get to the stage where they say, okay, we're up for sale, how long is Daniel Levy going to drag out any form of negotiations, paperwork? So my point is this. Conte's not going to be here through all of that time. So it might be that Conte's a great manager for Spurs when we get new owners in. Right?
Yep.
But for me, my overriding factor is this, what we talked about yesterday, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
If I wake up tomorrow and Conte's the manager, I don't care. If I wake up tomorrow and he's not the manager, I don't care. He's not being backed either way. The same way the 12 permanent managers before him, the same applies. I don't care. I don't support a manager. I support Tottenham Hotspur. But it gives me the right, it gives me the right still as a human being, as a football fan, to turn around and say, I do not like what I watch from Antonio Conte. I'm allowed to do that. The way people...
The football is boring under Conte. I'm sorry. I said it to you. It's like getting your teeth extracted in the dentist. It is boring to watch Tottenham play. I fall asleep to it now. It's that boring, mate. It is really, really bad. And what we can only do what we can do because of the players that we've got. Like I said to you yesterday, you can't play Conte's football with Eric Dyer and and Ben Davis and that in defence because he plays a high line. And even that, Italian football is based off your defence. And if you haven't got a solid defence, you've got nothing. Right. And we know that he's not going to be back. You've got Milan Skriniar in the last 6 months of his contract. This is something that Paratici would have for breakfast, but again, we're nowhere near it. There are bare players out there. The World Cup has shown you this. There are loads and loads of players out there in the last 6 months of their contracts, or like Brian said beforehand, Tyler Buchanan. There are loads and loads of quality young players out there if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So don't tell me there's no players out there. There are. It's just that you're not targeting them. And like you said, we haven't been linked with anybody in this transfer window. So that's not exactly filling you up with confidence at all. Yet we all know our defence is shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add on to what Phil said here. We obviously know that we heavily wanted Skriniar a few years ago. Hitchin went out to Italy. There's no denying that. He was told to try and get, obviously, Inter Milan kept saying 42.5 million or whatever. I think it was 42.5 million euros or pounds, whatever it was. Go get that deal done, but not at that price. It kept doing it. And then obviously we looked embarrassing. We didn't have it. And hey, lo and behold, Joe Rodon's there. Well, now Skriniar's available. 6 months left of his contract. We could talk to him. And Inter Milan, we could talk to Inter Milan to say, right, how much would it take to cost him to get him here now? But we could talk to Skriniar about, right, let's get you here at a free trial. This is the kind of deal that the man up top would normally be absolutely going nuts. This is it. I can finally get that player that I wanted 3 years ago at the money I want at Joe Rodon cost. I can get Skriniar at Joe Rodon cost right now. Our defence is hemorrhaging goals. Can't keep a clean sheet. That could have an impact on the fans. Not a big one, not a major one, but it could say, okay, he's made a move and it's a big move. Not a bargain basement deal. He's got inside an established, well-renowned, board winner, hard as nails centre-back, which is what we've all been crying out for. In one foul swoop, after the Villa defeat, any other club would be on the phone, right, let's get a defender in right here, right now, whether it be now or January.
Club would have it lined up for the January window, wouldn't they?
Exactly. You would have thought these deals, Bob Spur put a tweet out yesterday of people that are available at 6 months of their contract that we can officially start speaking to. That should be done January the 1st. January the 1st. Forget the results. Done. But no, here we are.
Just quickly, I want to go through a few comments and I want to react to a few of them. So again, this is an interesting take on it. Why would any top player sign when they don't even know if Conte will be around in May or even Feb? Kane is 29. It's his last chance for a big contract somewhere. We ain't an elite club, lads. Face it. There's a lot going on in there. We'll pick that up in a minute. Philo said, Savva, if Conte went tomorrow, we'd be in a worse state. We need him here. That for me is subjective because the form we're in and the football we're playing, I fail to believe that another manager can come in and do worse than performances that we saw against Aston Villa. For me as well, if the manager's down tools, then I don't know. This one, James Flower, I think this is an alias for something, said, you make no sense, though. How can we judge a manager with players that ain't his players? You're nuts. Right. Easy, James, right? Because first and foremost, not every manager in the Premier League has got every single player they ever wanted, right? Secondly, how have we judged every other manager that has ever managed for Tottenham Hotspur, right? This is my whole point on this. If we are not allowed to judge Conte because they're not his players and we're not allowed to criticise his performances and his tactics, Does that mean then that we need to give apologies to AVB, to Poch, to Jose, to Nuno, to Santini, to God?
Sorry, Savva, I've just got to quickly go out. Mum's
Yeah,
just
go,
got
go,
a massive lunch. But how much longer are you going for?
About another 25, 30.
All right, if I warp that down
Yeah,
in time, I get back. All I will say is, listen, people, keep the pressure building. Retweet everything if you're on social media. Do everything, but most importantly, call it out. However many you've got in your chat right now, if any of you are going to Palace tomorrow, first of all, I hope to sit tonight. Jesus Christ, tonight. Make the noise. Make the noise. Bring the thunder. We're going to be going relentlessly. Hopefully, there's big plans. Let's hope we have the backing to do it. The hardcore away fans will be prepared. This is a big moment. This is a big moment tonight. Obviously, win, lose or draw. Let's hope we get the win. If we lose, this is going to be, I fear, for what actually might happen. But I will be right in the centre of it with all the people that I am with. Thanks for having me on, Savva. We'll speak later on.
No worries, mate. No worries.
Phil, absolute pleasure, brother. We'll be in touch, all right? We'll be in touch.
Man, big up.
Yeah.
And as always, Levy out.
Absolutely. I mean, Phil, as I was saying, this is the thing. If we're saying we're not allowed to judge Conte on anything, then how could anyone say Jose out, Poch out, Nuno out, yeah, Redknapp, AVB, Santini, Hoddle.
Like I said yesterday, from the beginning, it's always been this manager wants this type of player to implement his system, but yet he's always failed with it. Like I said, Hoddle wanted Morientes. Martin Muir wanted his players. Mourinho wanted Castagne, but it was given Doherty. Mourinho wanted Mourinho wanted Skriniar, but was given Rodon. And it's not the first manager, and it's not going to be the last manager. It will never give the manager what they need.
It's not
simple
new,
as.
is it? This isn't a new thing, but it seems this is why I don't understand. All of a sudden, it seems that Conte is the one manager immune from any. I'm not agreeing with the Conte out, but he seems immune from anything. Like anything he does tonight, he can't lose, because even if we lose the game or he makes a terrible decision, fans will just go, "It's not on him." But accountability has to sit with everyone at the club. Right. Whoever you are. When Pep Guardiola loses a game, accountability sits with Pep Guardiola. The Man City fans don't just go, well, hang on, he's won us 4 league titles. I saw them moaning at the weekend. Why didn't Foden stop? Accountability sits with everyone, right? It's this whole I'm sorry, I hate this notion that he can't be criticised for anything. We can all be critical. Okay, here you go. Does that mean then I'm not sponsored? Some of these other big YouTube channels, like that have got 100,000 subscribers, right? They are sponsored. They get thousands of pounds of income just coming in from sponsorship. So they've got the studio and they've got the lighting and all that kind of stuff. Does that mean then that I can't be criticised for not doing anything? Like I'm building at the moment at the bottom. I don't know. I was opening my curtain to show you all. I'm building at the bottom of my garden an outhouse, so that I can actually have an office down there and I can have all my Spurs memorabilia and have a studio, right? People will still criticize that. Just because I've not got all the money that they'll still criticize me for that. And that's life. They'll criticize that in my spare room, I've got no fucking pillowcases on the pillows, right? We all get criticized in life, Phil. But this guy, for me, it just seems so strange.
It's his track record. It's the fact that Conte's won trophies at Inter Milan. The fact that he's won trophies at Inter Milan, Chelsea, and Juventus. By the way, yeah, he stayed at Juventus 4 years because of the love he has for the club when he played there. That's why he stayed at Juventus for 4 years, and that's why I'm convinced there. Come summer this year, he'll be back there. But that's hearsay, so we'll leave that to later on. But his record, speaks for itself. But it's the same with Mourinho. His record spoke for itself as well. Right. So really and truly, if you're going to tie them with the same brush here, then Mourinho should have been given a chance to do what he wanted to do. Right. But he wasn't. And that's because of his Chelsea roots. But the same thing with Conte.
Look at Ramos. Ramos won multiple trophies before he came here. Ramos then won a trophy with Tottenham. right?
Mhm.
Everyone out. Why? If you look
Because
at
the
it,
football
right?
was stale, yeah. We were at the bottom of the league. We
Right.
were going towards the bottom of the league. So so
But-
he was the fall guy. But really and truly, Ramos wasn't to blame. It was the fact that he couldn't even get the players that he wanted. And in that window, we sold both Berbatov and Kane, and we replaced him, with Fraser Campbell. That was a joke. And Fraser Campbell was given to us, as Man United threw him into the deal for Berbatov. And we were told Berbatov wouldn't be sold that window, if you remember correctly.
Yes, see, I don't buy this. I mean, again, look, I know the football is bad, but a Man City only 6, potentially 9 points better than Spurs this season. Conte's doing okay. If we want to take league position into account, fine. For me, that's not where the problem lies for me. As Phil, you know me, I've said this all along. I don't care if we finish 10th or 4th. It doesn't change anything at this club, right? Our fans all year go googly-eyed about, oh my God, Conte got us 4th. Right? What did it do?
I'm going to say this to you, Savva, and this is to most Arsenal fans, because I saw Lee Judge's video yesterday, but this one's to Arsenal fans, Do you remember, when Arsenal got top 4 over us, and Thierry Henry looked at them celebrating top 4, and they thought it was like a trophy? He turned around and said, you know what, this was the moment that I had to leave that club, because that's when the trophy top 4 is a stepping stone to greatness.
Agreed.
It is a fallback option when you do not get the league title, or you think that is what it is. It always was that. It's not a trophy.
Listen, I agree with you. My point has always been this, right? Just quickly, a quick update. Please smash the like button. I've got a couple of super chats to read out. There's 225 in here, only 101 likes, 125 of you. Please smash the like button, and a new member as well. So thank you so much. I'll see who that is in a minute. Are you Conte out was the question. 171 have voted and 39% have said yes. Off the top of my head, I don't even know. Off the top of my head, what's that? 60 people, maybe? By the way, I haven't voted. I haven't voted before everyone thinks. Look, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Phil. For me, Spurs fans seem to look at top 4 as though we've won something. So when everyone was getting excited last year, a miracle for top 4, which Conte has put these words into people's heads, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Miracle. What miracle that we beat that Arsenal team with no strikers to top 4. Okay. Miracle, right? But here nor there, most clubs would use top 4. If Newcastle get top 4 this year, they will use it as a platform to go out and buy better players to push them on. Spurs get top 4 and we use it as a platform to do what we always do and have the same transfer windows we always have. So my question is this to you, Phil. Who did we sign in the summer that we wouldn't have if we weren't a Champions League team?
No one. I'm sorry to say it, but no one. Right. We shopped beneath ourselves. No one in that transfer window, wouldn't come in if we were in the Europa Conference League. That's as simple as that. We did not go out there. We showed no ambition in the market. Yes, we signed Basuma. But Basuma, you have to remember the court case had a lot of big teams frightened to go near him. So that helped Levy in a way to get in Basuma. That's what people forget about Basuma. Richarlison.
Sorry, Phil.
I don't rate Richarlison. I don't rate him at all. 60 million was a joke. I wouldn't even pay 40 for him, but I know Bob Spur likes him, so I'm not going to go critical on him.
I mean, just this. I mean, I don't know how to read this. Are you saying that Conte is the best manager with Jose we've had in a 100-year history? Are you laughing because you know how ridiculous that sounds, or are you laughing because you think it's true? For me, I would just like to point out that for anyone that is under the age of about 30, right, Spurs have had serial winning managers manage this football club before, like Keith Birkinshaw, right, like Sir Bill Nicholson. So please. Telling me this is the best manager we've ever had. Please.
One of my favorites of all time, who got England to the semi-final of the Euro '96, Mr. Venables, was our manager as well, and won the FA Cup. Yeah. So we've had good managers in our time.
Thank you, Georgius. I'm not a league and a copycat. Everything I said in the summer has come true. Everything I said in the summer has come true, but I'm still negative. Just quickly, again, Philo 123 Coys. There's too many of you bloody Phils everywhere. All right. Has said, why is Conte successful with a quality squad everywhere he's gone? He comes to Spurs, the squad is average, and that's why where we are. It's not on Conte. Look at the cards he's been dealt. Right, Philo, there's so many different things here. First of all, your first part of the sentence answers itself. Why is he successful with a quality squad wherever he goes? Well, because he has a quality squad. He comes to Spurs, the squad is average. Okay, right? We know that. It's not on Conte. But there's the bit. What's not on Conte? The winning.
The squad that he inherited.
Winning.
There's players in here, yeah, like you said before, there's players in here that's been here through Pochettino and Mourinho, and they're not kind of his players, but even then, you find a way to win. You find a way to work it all together, and you find a way to play the football that you need to win.
Well, Phil, I'll come back to that in 1 second. I've got a couple of super chats. Adrian Chia, thank you so much for the super chat. I said, kudos for recognising Levy wins no matter what. Well, he does. Until that man leaves this door, he wins. When we're talking about Levy wins if Conte goes, Levy wins if Conte stays, Levy wins, Levy wins. Levy's got a 4-5 billion windfall coming his way. Levy wins. And Tom Markton said, Conte, I have to accept limits of board and leave. If he did say that, then great. Thank you for the super chat. What I would say is this. I don't blame Conte for not winning. I don't blame him for not winning a trophy. I don't blame Jose for not winning. I don't blame any of them for not winning. But what I do blame Conte for is the god-awful football we watch. And as I said in the stream earlier, I watch teams like Brentford, Brighton, Fulham. I'm not saying they're tick-a-tack, wonderful one-touch football, but they look organised. They look well-oiled. They look drilled. They look a team. We don't look a team. It's not that we don't play good football. We just don't look a team. We don't look like there's any cohesive patterns. We don't look like we defend as a unit. We don't look like we move across the pitches in triangle. I don't know what they do. Philo, you're more than welcome to come on, my friend. You're more than welcome. The stream is in the bottom.
When I watch Conte football, all I can see is damage limitations. That's all I can see when I see Tottenham Hotspurs. It's let's hold back here and let's see if we can hold what we've got. Every time we start a game, it's let's see if we can hold what we've got. And in the last 20 minutes, it's like, okay, now let's go out and let's see if we can attack them. Let's see if we can steal a game. Let's see if we can steal a victory. Let's see if we can get a draw. But at the beginning, it's always damage limitations for the first 70 minutes and hold back and see if we can still get something. That's wrong. Mm-hmm. But that's what we are.
Phil, I agree with you. Listen, I get it, right? Our defense isn't the best in the league. I get it. But again, when I bring up the example of some of the other teams I just mentioned, here you go. If I had said, I did this earlier on the show. If I had said to you, right, if I'd said to you, let's have a look at Fulham's back four, right? If I'd said to you in the summer, Spurs are buying, right? Anthony Robinson, Tim Ream, Adarabioyo, and Kenny Tete, who all got promoted last season, you would have all said to me, what? No. Right. So how comes they can defend?
That's because they go for it, Savva. They can defend because they play as a team. They all play for each other. Okay. At Tottenham, they don't play for each other.
Okay. So, and then where does some of the accountability with that sit with?
That's Vissel Conte.
Right. So again, if you look at the as I said, listen to this Brighton 11. This is the Brighton 11, Phil, from yesterday, right? The Brighton 11 is Sanchez, Veltman, Dunk, Colwill, Estupiñán, Gross, Caicedo, Mitoma, March, Sarmiento, and an 18-year-old Ferguson up front. And they spanked Everton 4-1.
Yeah, I saw it.
If I said to you in the summer, we're signing any of those players, every one of you Spurs fans, every one of us would have gone, nah, I don't want any of that. Maybe Caicedo, right? Maybe Dunk. But now we've not got the players to do anything, but these other managers can get the most out of players that came for 2-3 million to the club. I don't buy it. And that is why when people are going, oh, it's a god-awful squad, I'm sorry, look at the transfer windows those other clubs have had in the last 3-4 years and compare it to ours.
Right. Now, I'm going to say this to you, Savva, yeah? When you're a manager, yeah, and you are given something that you don't want, does that not undermine you as a person? Does that not make you feel that you're fed up and you just don't want to be part of it? because this Jed Spence still, has a lot to answer to, in the fact that Conte told Levy he didn't want him. Him and Paratici distanced himself away from the deal because they know they didn't want him.
Yep.
They wanted an experienced player. They had chances to get like the likes of Molina before he went to Atletico Madrid. That's the kind of player that he wanted, someone who's proven, and played at the top stage, so that he can add experience to the squad. Mm-hmm. So when Levy turned around and brought Jed Spence in, you undermined whatever Conte wanted to do.
Agreed.
And so Conte checked out.
Every manager. This is my point. There's been 12 permanent. I'm not counting Mason and Clive Allen and Pleat, right? There's been 12 permanent managers under Levy and Enoch. And this has only been my point, and I don't think anyone can tell me I'm not being fair here. This isn't my opinion. This is just fair. Every one of those managers can say the same thing, right? But every one of those managers had fans saying out. Every one of those managers was allowed to be criticised. So for me, I'm not saying Conte out, but I do think our style of play and his inability to get us looking like a solid unit is on him, right? If you don't have the defenders to defend, fine, but then find another way of playing that doesn't mean you have fucking all of the game with your defenders having the ball when you know they've got mistakes. Yeah, these lesser clubs. I'm not saying for one moment any of those three will finish above us, because, like I said, they don't have Kane, they don't have Son, they don't have Kulusevski. But with the squads they've got, they are all within 3 points of us. And I look at that and I go, that is what. And Chem has made the point. Chem has made a point here because they're drilled, training. I don't think Conte does that in training. I don't know what he does. I'll be honest.
I think Conte is like Mourinho. You remember when Mourinho said that? I send the players to do their own training sessions and their own fitness and that, and then basically I send them out to go and do it. That's what I think Conte does. I think he sends them out to go and do their own training sessions, make sure they're fit enough to play. He'll do the tactics and that, but he will say to them, go out there and go and make yourself fit.
I mean, this is interesting. So Greco Christos, I mean, that's a very Greek name, that is. And I thought Savva was Greek. I said, yeah, but Savva, he can't go to a back four and change his philosophy. What's the point? That just undermines his position from the start and the belief the players have in his methods. But okay then. So then doesn't that go full circle, Greco, to then why is he here? If he's not getting the players to do his own methods and he doesn't want to try anything else, then walk. Show the world what the board are all about. But all the while you are being paid 18 to 20 million a year to manage a team, I don't want to hear that him changing the formation might undermine him. I want to know, well, what might be better for Spurs? Why not tonight against Palace? Why not ditch the wing backs and try four at the back, 4-3-3? Why not?
Because he doesn't do that.
I know he doesn't, but listen, that's on him. If he wants to keep playing this turgid style of football. Okay, do you know what I love? I watch Brighton, right? Brighton switch from a 4 at the back to a 5 at the back. Always look like a tight, compact unit. They just switch it up. That's coaching. That's management. That's drilling into the players. Have Brighton got a better squad than Tottenham?
No, they don't. But Savva, I'm going to say this to you, yeah. In Italy, right, while Conte was successful in Italy, there were rumblings in the background, yeah, of him being stubborn and him playing 3-5-2. Now, at Inter Milan, that came out even more, that he's a stubborn manager who doesn't change his formation. He has a set pattern and a set way of doing it, and it is 3-5-2. It doesn't matter which way you put it around, it is 3-5-2. He has his 3 at the back, his 5 in midfield, and his 2 up front, which is Martinez and Lukaku at that time. So this is what he needed at Tottenham, or what he needs at Tottenham to play that system. You need to have, like you said, your solid defense. You need to have your midfielders. You need to have the attacking midfielder in front of them, because you've got the screen, which is what I call the 2 handbrakes, which is Bentancur and Basuma or Højbjerg. That's the screen, but you haven't got the man in front of there to push the ball to the wing backs. You haven't got the striker that we have here. Kane and Son. Son's not even a striker, and I don't like Son playing up front. Kane has dropped back too much, so he's not exactly. He would score more goals here if he was pushed up front again, like he was back when he was under Poch.
Mhm.
Even though Kane scores goals now, he would score more goals if he was more of a striker. But we've pushed him back so much here because we don't get the ball into a cam.
The club should have bought a creator. Listen, I said in the summer, for me, the biggest thing we didn't do this summer was Ericsson back on a free.
Right.
I watch him for Man United and I just go, he is everything we have not got. He looks brilliant. He has created a wonderful partnership with Casemiro. He looks brilliant. He's assisting. He's controlling the games for them. Just quickly, let's go through some comments, Phil. Tony Rodriguez has said, big up, Phil. 2 Phils.
How you doing, lads?
Just too much. Tony has said, you can't polish a turd. We have too many players with no end product. There is no trainer who get results from this. Again, I'm gonna throw it back to then how do managers like De Zerbi, like Thomas Frank, like what's his name, Silva at Fulham, how are they getting their teams to get results with lesser players? I'm sorry, this has got to stop. We don't have a great defense, I get it, but as I said, if anyone had offered, by the way, everyone was telling me we had a great squad at the beginning of the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was telling me in the summer that we had a great squad. Do these players, yes or no, guys? And I welcome Brian back in. We'll go till 2:15. These 10 players get into any of the clubs around us, and by around us, I mean Brentford, Brighton, Fulham, Palace could be up there after today, Chelsea, right? Romero, right? Perisic, Basuma, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Son, Kane, Kulusevski. Longlay's not the worst centre-back in the world. There are enough good players there that when people just come out with this, all the players are shit, there's nothing he can do. I'm sorry, guys, I can't take that on board. He had a worse team last year and was playing better football. Sorry, I'll throw that out to you lot.
For me, it's integral. He gets his wing backs in. That's integral for his system. I solely believe it's because of the wing backs. That's so important to his system. And our wing backs are fucking dross. They are shit. So that is the main thing we need to do in the transfer window is to get his wing backs in.
But Phil,
more so than a centre back, in my opinion, because that is so integral to his system.
But Phil, didn't every Spurs fan in the world say that Perisic was most definitely a Conte player?
He's not a wing back. Not now. He's not a wing back at his age now. He's not a wing back. He can't get up the field back and forth like he used to. He can't do that now. He has
why
to play.
is he playing there?
He's the only option we've got. that's why, really. I mean,
he's the only option we've got. So what I'm hearing is we're trying to play a system that relies on wing backs, and we haven't got any wing backs. That straight away tells me, don't play wing backs. You've not got 3 good centre halves, and you've not got wing backs. Why do we play a wing back?
He's too stubborn to go for any other formation, Savva. That is it. He's too stubborn to go back to a different formation. That's what it is.
I agree.
But for me, everyone keeps going on a centre back. I'll get that. But it's more important for him to get wing backs in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, where do you sit with that? I mean, by the way, I'm hearing that David Gold has passed away.
Yeah, I'll just do it.
That's true, yeah. Sorry, I never know. Sometimes things get put in the chat and you don't know. But RIP. Sad to see anybody in the football world. It's sad to see anybody in any world pass away. So RIP to David Gold. Best to his family. Brian, look. I agree with Phil, but I also think it needs 2 wing backs, 2 centre halves, and I cannot believe we've signed 9 players and not addressed 9 players since Conte's been here and not addressed any of that.
I think sadly, Savva, what you have to say is I can believe it. I can believe it because this is Tottenham Hotspur. You got to do that way. Whereas I think wing backs there's ways to separate this. Whereas I feel wing backs are integral, absolutely integral to what Antonio Conte does. Big up the Diamond Sue Smith. Love that woman. Big up. I feel we need to address wing backs for an Antonio Conte system to work, because he's very, very. We all know he's very, very stubborn about this position. However, I'm different for Phil in the fact that I think centre backs have to be addressed. And there's the reason I say that more than the wing backs is if Emerson Royale makes a mistake, if Doherty, whoever the Sessegnon, there's still a back three to cover. There's still a back three to try and wrinkle out that mistake and have the time. If Dyer does what he does against Liverpool, you're in. You're in. That's it. There's there's another man to. Even when we have three defenders at centre, one of them make a categorical, like a huge error. That's it. It's a chance on goal. With the wing backs, it could lead to a goal. But going forward, desperately, Perisic is doing what he's doing going forward, but he's not as good going back as he is going forward. And everything we have on the right just isn't good enough going forward or staying back.
Yeah.
But you Dyer makes his mistake. Davis makes a mistake. There's no. It's like you're in. You're in on Lloris. And Lloris. I mean, this is the thing. We keep doing this as a football club, where we get squad filler, where we can pad the squad out and say, look at the numbers. We've got depth. We haven't got quality in depth. I'm sorry. I want to say the one thing about with Lloris as well, where I hold the ball totally responsible. Yes, he's been a world-class goalkeeper. Is a world, whatever way you want to say it. Lloris is on the decline now. But throughout his entire Spurs career, there has not been one goalkeeper there to put pressure on him. To say, right, I'm coming for your shirt. The goalkeepers we sign it's cover in case he's injured, suspended, or rest. Not. We want a goalkeeper to come in and say, right, Hugo, you are number one. But now you have to fight for your place. You're in.
For me, the captaincy needs to change. For me, I've never liked a goalkeeper to be captain, even a striker to be captain. You know, Kane's the vice captain, I believe. So, yeah, it needs to be a centre back for me. But we haven't got a captain in there, so we need to buy a centre back where he is a leader in that back line. So that is a big issue for me.
I agree.
That's where De Vrij comes in. Remember, Savva, I told you in the summer, someone like Stefan De Vrij would be perfect for that, because he's the minded centre half and a captain. He would be perfect for what he needs to do. Yeah, he hasn't got the legs anymore. I know he's 35, but he's command.
It needs a leader.
Yeah, we haven't had a leader in the back line for years.
Right.
I don't think we've had a leader since, obviously since the kind of Toby Yam partnership broke up, which was special. But just quickly,
I'd have them now.
Mate, I mean, I want to quickly say, Seabass Wolf 28. I don't think anyone. I think this is where, for me, the argument just loses focus. For me, I think what we're talking about now is style of play. When people like you come in and go, "Oh, you can't believe that people still think a manager like Conte will win stuff with these players," I've not heard anyone say he should win with players like this. I don't think it's about winning things at the moment. I certainly have not put any pressure on any managers to win while they're at Tottenham, because they've not got it. Maybe Poch should have got over the line with the team he had, but not the squad. But for me, Seabass Wolf, it's about the tactics. But please stop saying, because people have criticised him, that they want him sacked. That's not what this conversation is. We've got to be really careful of that, because what I then see is I turn my show off when I start watching other people's shows. Oh, Savva's just been saying Conte should be sacked. And it's like, well, no. Hang on, no. And then I get, oh, Savva's a dick. He's an idiot, that bloke. Guys, look, for me, it's this. It's quite simple. I think we're at a position now where the wing backs isn't working. The squad don't look like they're playing for him. He doesn't look like he wants to be here, right? We've got some injuries. We've got some suspensions. What would be the harm? And I know, Phil, I can see your answer is going to be it's not what he does. But what would be the harm in tonight just going, you know what? We'll go 4-3-3. We'll go 4-4-2. What's the harm in trying something. We're not playing well and winning anyway.
It's too risky for me to play that at this time. At this
Why?
time, we're very
versus Villa.
No, we're very vulnerable at the minute, and plus you've got to think as well, Savva, the injuries we've got in a 4-3-3 system. We haven't got a Cooley there. We haven't got a Richarlison up top either, to help out with that front three. So at this moment in time, I think it's very risky to play that kind of formation. We need to stick to the formation we've got. Well, to be honest, I would play a 3-5-2 tonight, if I'm honest, and pack that midfield in.
I agree with that. I just don't understand, Phil, this constant playing 3 centre-backs when we haven't even got 2 good centre-backs. For me, you're just putting more bad players on the pitch in that position than actually helping.
Yeah, but that's what we've got, isn't it? That's the tools you've got, yeah, and this is the system that you have. Then you've got no choice but to play that system, innit? And you've got no choice but to play them players, innit?
And this is why I don't blame Conte a lot, because the players he's been dealt with it's not a great squad that he's been dealt with, and I feel sorry for him a little bit that he hasn't.
I don't feel sorry for him in one bit.
Let me ask you this: back to manager in the last how many years? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but hang on, Phil. In the summer, all the people that are now saying that he hasn't been back were telling me that he's been backed. We
won the window.
I know that.
I'm not saying you, Phil, but the thing is, there were so many saying he's been backed. I had people coming on sharing screenshots of it showed the 11 and then every one of the players behind them as the backups. And fans were telling me, you're negative, Savva. He's been given players. Perisic was his. Basuma was his. Longley was his. This was his. That was his. Richarlison. But then now when he can't do a thing with them, he's got nothing. He's not got nothing. He's not. When the other night we had 60% of the ball, right? Mm-hmm. Forget the back three. They hardly saw it. 60% of the ball. So here's what I'm going to take the argument of the defense is bad off the table for this one game because they didn't have a lot to do. What did we do going forward with better players?
Now, Savva, I'm going to say this to you, yeah. Without an orchestrator in that midfield, at Juventus, Conte had Pielo, and then he had someone like, let me get it right, Pogba. Then at Chelsea, he had Fabregas. At Inter Milan, he had. I agree. Someone who could take the play and someone who could put the. This is why I said in the summer we needed to get a creative midfielder.
Paramount. 100%.
Phil, what did everyone say in the summer when
he doesn't need creators? We play wing backs.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't need creators. We play wing backs. Right. So it's gone from doesn't need creators to now all of a sudden, he does need creators. Look, at some point, Conte for me, he's got to make a decision. For me, he's got to make a decision. We know the owners. There's no point bringing them into it. We know the owners. We know that's not changing, right? By the way, anyone who's just joined, I am stopping the show in like 60 seconds. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Aaron, but I will be live tonight at 10 p.m. if you want to join. I will be live doing another fan show 10 p.m.
I'm gonna say I agree with you on this one, yeah. If we haven't got the creators in the team now, move Kulu into the middle and let's see what he can do in the middle.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. At no point have we seen, all right, let's go wing backs, 2 in the middle, Kane and Richarlison up top, Kulu in the hole. Or Son up top and Kulu in the hole, or Kane in the hole. Or this is what I mean. Just try anything. I don't disagree with any of you. Wing backs, got to get them in. Centre backs.
When we move Mora into the middle, from the right, he actually played. Remember under Mourinho, we moved Mora from the right into the middle. Do you remember how we were scoring goals and he was creating and that?
Yeah.
I want to see how Kulu does in that position.
The bench that I saw against Villa, I expected a few of the younger players like the youth to come through, like Divine and players like that.
No, Conte doesn't use them. Conte doesn't play like that.
I know, but I wanted to see that. I wanted to see like a Divine come through. Do you know what I mean? Have a bit of spark, a bit of creativity in there. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I've been calling out for this. Listen, I've really got to stop the show. My wife has just told me that the dishwasher is leaking. Dreadful. Right, I know, shocking. Listen, I'll be back at 10 o'clock. I can't, don't worry, Brian, I can't go before I read this out. Thank you so much, Raf. He said, great debate, Savva. My head is now saying maybe it'll be better for Conte should walk. Absolutely, not sacked, walk, and expose these owners. Nothing will change with Levy at the helm. And as always, Brian Daigle.
Yeah, just before I say, just to anyone at Palace tonight, get your voices ready. Scream, shout, minute 1 to minute 90, regardless of the result. It papers over the cracks. So, I'll be there, and I'll be singing 2 words. And those 2 words are, and as always, Levy out.